This is Sheets, and I'm going to be going over the MLB slate for this evening. Just so you guys know, I'm not going to be around for live later. So I'm also probably not going to be playing. I'll probably play like one lineup tonight, just because I'm going to be out and I won't have time to deal with the mass multi-entry stuff. Which is kind of good, because what I will do in this session is go over how to build one lineup. We are going to do a SaberSim build as well, but we're going to focus on how to build one lineup out of the information we have. Now, what I'm going to end up doing, by the way, obviously, is I'm going to wait till later to actually put it in, but I think this will be pretty interesting. It is a full card tonight, so we do have to spend a little bit of time on it. Let me look at the weather first. I don't see much of anything. So you have 14 fights. Excuse me, 14 fights. Back to MMA. We have 14 games with no weather issues. So it's kind of a rough slate for me to not be able to play. But you know what? I just can't tonight. I'm going to be out. So let me share my screen, and well, I guess we'll do the same. I guess we'll do the same process as always, in that should we take a pretty quick look at this? I mean, boy, it's going to be really hard to just blast through. So what I think we should probably do is just kind of go straight from the projections, and we're just going to start there. And we're going to have to make this really big slate seem small. So we're going to do that. And if you want a heavier duty breakdown, I imagine that Goldie's going to be able to go through this. It just looks like a lot of options just from gazing at this. So let's just see if at least the early projections can at least put us in the right direction. I haven't even looked yet, so we're doing this literally for the first time. So we're pulling up the projections, and again, we're listing everything by Sheets value score first. And it seems like a very classic type slate, in that the top options are pitchers as far as Sheets value score goes. Because what happens is whenever you see slates where these random one-offs or more are up in this top tier, it's usually a slate with terrible pitching and wildly undervalued hitting. But this is the way slates usually look. When you have the pitchers as the top options, then the position players. So you do see, first of all, that there is a glut of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pitchers that is, well, I shouldn't say significantly, but they're ahead of the others, I suppose. See, that's not true. I mean, there's a little bit of a gap down at Verlander and then Waka. So it's an interesting situation here. I mean, we look straight at the top. We do have Scherzer being the top option. All right, so at a value score of 37, I think that's very strong. If it's over 40, it's like super strong. But you definitely have to respect this value score here. But this is right below him. You have two other guys, Paxton and Sears, not to mention Sandoval, that are all close enough to Verlander where I think getting that 50% ownership discount is going to matter. So, I mean, initially, where I'm looking here, it seems as though Paxton, Sears, and Sandoval would be, even if I were playing one lineup, it would be probably two of those three. But then, like, you go down to Tuki Toussaint here, and again, forget the name for a second, pretend these names didn't exist. I mean, you just have a pitcher with a 31 value score at 7% ownership. It's something you'd probably be interested in. And then you have Peralta and, you know, what's his name? Who's Leon? Leon would be very happy to know that I'm probably not going to be playing Peralta. Yeah, JJ US Open was great. That was terrific. And I'm actually in day 2 of the of the king of the baseline thing. We're down to 50, and they play down to 25 today, and I have three. And I have 3 entries in there. So I'll make sure. Actually, I'm going to post that. I forgot to do it already. Yeah, I forgot to do it already. So let me put it in the thing. It actually is off to not the greatest start in the world. I lost the first set out of one of my guys. So let's see what happens. So we're just going to post. I'm going to post this in the link here, and then we'll post it over here. And we'll just see. We'll just see what happens. Yeah, Wang is already off to just a miserable start, and I've him in two of my lineups. It's not good. All right, so let's get back to it. We'll pull up again the sheets for today. Oh, I gotta find you guys. As far as your chat goes, hold on a minute. Sorry, that's what happens when I do this. No, you are over here, I believe. Okay. Yeah, it's not a live final, Rody. They just play it out online. It's not a live final or anything like that. But it's 100,000 for first, which is pretty freaking big for tennis. All right, so anyway, so you have Paxton, Sears, and Sandoval would be my top, and then I think Toussaint's pretty reasonable. I wouldn't play Verlander, honestly. I mean, you don't get much of an ownership discount, and he's just below these guys. And then Quantrill and maybe Quantrill and Waka is like really deep GPP darts, but that's pretty much the end of my pool, honestly. So for me, it would be Paxton, Sears, Sandoval, probably one of those 3 or 2 of those 3, and just for ownership fade purposes, maybe fade Scherzer. So what's good about this is if there is a high price stack that we want to play, we can certainly do it really easily with 2 of these 3. So it is going to depend on what we want to do. Like if it turns out we're going to go to the stacks in a minute we do want to spend, we could spend down a little bit, then we could play Scherzer with one of these 3. But if we do want to spend up, then we probably would want to play 2 of these 3. All right, let's take a look at the stacks. And again, we'll do a SaberSim build in a few, but let's start with this. All right. We rate these by raw points. You have a clear top option, and that would be in Toronto. Before I mean, I don't want to really look, but I'm presuming that this is because they would be in Coors. I mean, that's the only way I could imagine anybody rating that high, unless they were facing kind of a little league team. And let's just see what these. I shouldn't have even gone back here, but who's Toronto playing? They have to be in Coors, right? I'm just guessing. Yeah, they are in Coors. Okay. So that's why they're rated so high, and that's why they're rated the highest owned. So these are decisions you have to make. When I go down a little bit here, you have Boston and Houston as pretty much, and again, just based on raw points, as clear second choices. And obviously with significant lower ownership. So these are the 2 teams from a raw points perspective that really stand out as good pivots if you didn't want to play Toronto. Okay. And then you go down to these other dudes, you know, Atlanta, they're really expensive, so it's going to be tough to get to. Then you're talking about maybe dropping to Texas a little bit, but I don't even think you need to do that. I think that considering how owned Toronto is going to be, you can stick with something like Boston, Houston if you want to spend up. Now, if you want to sort these by value, you're still getting Toronto. Hey, Ryan, we'll do a FanDuel if you want. Yeah, okay, we have time because I'm going to basically rifling through this, even though it's a big slate. You see the Toronto's rating strong as far as value goes as well, so that's why they're going to be a good play. But you're seeing Boston kind of show up again, both on the value side and on the DraftKings side. So for me, even though it's a 14-game slate, even though you have 28 stacks to choose from, I mean, if you're only playing one lineup, I think that Boston is clearly the top stack. I will say that. When you factor in both value, upside, points, and ownership, I don't even think it's remotely close. So that would be my very strong recommendation, presuming, of course, that these are the guys that are playing, the projections don't change, the ownership doesn't change. Again, this is process, so we're presuming this slate closes in 10 minutes, which it does not. Okay? So without me even looking, it's going to be something like Paxton. Who are those dudes I mentioned before? Paxton. We'll build it in a second, but it'll be Paxton, Sears, Sandoval with the Red Sox. And fortunately, you have Paxton who's on the Red Sox, so we get a little bit of correlation there as well. So you know what? Let's go. Let's see what we can do here. So we have, where are these guys? Where is Paxton even on my list? 7,500. We'll get to the other pitcher in a second, but let's just jam these guys in. Where is Boston? Who do they play anyway? Eric Case against Jordan Lyles. All right, so let's pile in all the Boston guys that we want. So the first thing that we want to do, again, just to kind of be smart, is let's see which Boston guys appear in both value and in raw points if we can. So we start over here. So Verdugo, Devers, Duvall, for sure. So Verdugo, Devers, Duvall. Let's put those guys in. Duvall, Verdugo, and Devers. And then if we really want to spend up, we'll play Yoshida and Turner. But you can't play both Turner and wait, what? Oh, Turner's at first base. Yeah, you can play him. You certainly can. And you can play Yoshida if you want. All right. So let's just spend up for all these dudes and see if we can't get away with it. I mean, it looks pretty easy, right? You play Paxton. You're not going to be able to play Scherzer, but you could almost play Scherzer if you want to know the truth. Like you could almost do this. Like if you just take out, like if you played like cheaper Boston guys, like you played instead of Turner and Yoshida, you played Arias and Casas, for example. Where's Arias? If you played Arias and he's second base, so if you did this, then you could play Scherzer. So let's go. I mean, to me, this is pretty easy. And then you can fill it in with whoever you want. I mean, just 3,300 a man. I could leave that rest to you, but that's as I hate to turn a 14-game slate into easy money, but this is literally what I would do. I mean, really. I would be worried that Boston is too highly owned as a result of how easy this is to do, and because he's up against Jordan Lyles. So just for fun, all right, let's just say that's the case. Let's just say that Boston's too easy, and we want to play Houston. Against the worst, against Carlos Rodon. Oh, this is definitely something you want to do actually. So let's see who we'd want to play with Houston. Just for kicks. So Houston, let's just say you wanted to play all these guys. Tucker, Altuve. They're all the same guys, regardless of how you do this, except for Breckman maybe. So let's see if we can't get them all in. We'll go hitters. We'll go Altuve. Oh, these are really expensive. Oh my God, yeah, we're not gonna be able to play all these guys, but McCormick. But if we did, then we would have to play, which is not bad. We played Paxton again, and now we'd have to pay down. Now we'd have to play something like, can we even do it? Like we played, say, J.P. Sears. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it is hard to play the Houstons, even if you double pay down. Like even if you get down to Tucson, it's very difficult to do. So I think we're kind of priced out of Houston. So I think Boston is just clearly what you're supposed to do. So you know what? Let's do a Saber Sim build, and just kind of show you. I want to check on the. It really sucks. I'm really off to a crappy start with the tennis here today. But let's see. I mean, you only got to get in the top 50%, so it's not terrible. But let's see. To show you. Yeah, so Zhang, this guy's really just not feeling it for me here. Yeah, he's only got 22 points. Got to get this set. You just got to get this win. Anyway, let's pull up. This is Saber Sim for DraftKings. We'll upload the most recent projections here, and we'll build. I don't know. We'll build 50 lineups just for fun, and see what we get. $50 lineups. We'll go 5. Let's do 500. We'll just keep everything the same. We'll actually do min salary 49,200, and we'll build and see what we get. I'm just presuming that because it was so easy to do what I did, that if they have any desire at all to fade Toronto, that the Saber Sim algorithm is going to come up with the similar ideas. But we'll see. Maybe they'll play more Scherzer and play. I don't know. Well, I really don't know who you play, which is kind of like weird, right? 28 teams to choose from, and I'm literally between like 2 teams. Maybe it's just a good day to play one lineup. Shall see. While that's going, we'll get back and look at this. Anybody doing well here? Anybody have this person? Yeah, this Flomander's got the Schmiedlova, and he's got nothing really. Yeah, so nobody's really separating themselves here yet, so it's not that bad. And Mushova's going to win the first leg of the set. So not too much is going on there. Let's see. All right, here we go. So there it is, Boston. You know what I mean? Like this has got to be really popular, right? We look at stack exposure, mostly 5-mans, Toronto, and then Boston. All right, so nothing I did was particularly earth-shattering, but that's just kind of what it is. The other thing I want to try here, again, which I've been getting used to, first of all, let's do min uniques 2 and see if that changes anything. Just get a little more Toronto. But let's do a contest sim, which tends to save settings, which tends to produce some different results. So I wonder, because what the contest sims thing does is it really takes into account who the field is going to play. And then it does a little bit better job with getting leverage than the regular builds. So if you can stomach it, if you use the contest sim approach using Saber Sim, you can get a lot more different with your lineups. Now, again, it depends on what tournaments you're playing, whether you need to get that different. But if you're playing the lottery, all I can tell you is that I've won the lottery a couple of times, and it's never been with a lineup that I ever would have come up with on my own. It's always been some ridiculous thing, which if you look back at 6:30 p.m., you're like, I would never play this. All right, so the thing that's important to do here, is you see that not much has changed, right? Is after this runs, you want to change the sorting to flagship enemy ROI. Okay, so now is where things get funny, right? So when you factor into account like ownership and simulating this out, you get very little Boston. You somehow get to Atlanta a decent amount. And now you get up to Houston because now when you see what you're doing, they got you playing Tucson. and stuff like this. You'll get stack exposure again, still 5-2s or whatever, but here you're actually getting some more Atlanta. And then with pitching, as I alluded to, you're getting about 40% Tukey Tucson, because you want to know why? He's a decent looking play, and he's low owned. So in the lottery, I agree with this. Actually, I agree with this type of approach. And so if I were going to play multiple lineups, it would be builds like this that I would play in the lottery. So, I mean, overall, I guess to wrap that up on DraftKings, I mean, again, it's important to know the difference between good plays and good lineups, and even that discrepancy changes depending on what tournament you're playing. But I think that Scherzer certainly is a very reasonable play, and I think that Sears and Paxton are very, very good values, along with Sandoval and Tucson. Now, someone had mentioned to me that you were getting a decent amount of Quantrill, and I could see that too. Depending on what type of settings you put in, you can get Quantrill as a very similar type of play to Tucson's, No. Ryan's saying the contest sims will get you lineups that would offend you as a hand builder. It would offend you as a human being, if you want to know the truth. I mean, if you really set SaberSim to do what it needs to do to get different, you are never going to want to play any of those lineups, and you just kind of have to do it. Oh, good question, JJ. So what other stacks is it like when you do the contest sims? Atlanta, Houston, and Philly moves up the list a little bit. Okay, but you see that Houston moves up because remember those problems we had earlier, kind of fitting them in. Well, SaberSim solved it by saying, well, let's just put in Tucson's, as opposed to one of the other guys. And you see that it kind of complements these expensive Houstons with super cheapos from Oakland. See that? There's the first one, for example, and this Irvin Sears combination allows you to pile in all these Braves, So the Braves have caused this type of analysis to be very, important every day, because they always rate really well, and yet they're very, really expensive. So these cheaper pitchers are unfortunately coming into our lives, so to speak. So, all right, so that's going to be that with respect to DraftKings. Let me just go and look at FanDuel and see again I might build one line up there as well. And as Ryan says, his tennis is painful. We'll take another look at this. Ooh, Wang got a break, which is actually really important. And Paul is already off to the races with a break. So Wang really needs this set to get back into business here. Anyway, let's go back to FanDuel and see what it looks like, the projections over there. Here it looks like Scherzer's, again, he's a top option, but these other cheapos at much lower ownership is probably worth a shot, whether it be Sears, Paxton, Peralta. So it's listen, I cut to the chase right now. It's going to be the same decision. Do you want to play Scherzer with more value, or do you want to play Sears and Paxton with Atlanta, Houston, for example? But let's take a look and see what the stacks look like on FanDuel. On FanDuel, I imagine it's the same, right? Toronto and then Houston, Boston. It's literally exactly the same. Okay. Miami moves up a little bit in the value over here. So just for example, we may as well do this. Wait, anyway, on FanDuel, let me just see. I'll build one here. $19. So if I want to play, I have to add some. All right, we'll do it. We'll just build one for the hell of it, just to. Let's get greedy. Let's play Scherzer. And I don't know why I'm not getting any glass now. I don't know what to tell you. So we played Scherzer. Now we're at 3K a man. I haven't even looked at the prices yet. Let's see if we can get exactly what we want here. Now the problem here is that you're not getting the same type of ownership discount between Toronto and Boston. But what you are getting is the big break with Houston. So let's do that. Tucker Altuve Abreu, Bregman. Let's see if we probably can't afford these with Scherzer, right? Let's take a look. Abreu, Altuve, Bregman. Who's it? Tucker was the other one, or Alvarez? Alvarez. Well, both of them actually. So who am I missing? Oh, we don't really need Abreu. But hang on, we'll get to that in a second. Alvarez, Tucker. We're not going to be able to afford all of this, obviously. So we can't really play Scherzer with these guys unless we played like Abreu. And even that makes $23.50 a man. That's really, really difficult. So if you want to get up to Houston, again, you're just going to have to pay down, which I think is fine. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with this, just playing Paxton over here as well. I mean, we're worried about Kansas City. I mean, you can just play this, and now at 2,900 a man, now you can just do stuff. Like we, you know, you could play. You play these Miami guys. Remember, I just mentioned Miami looks a little bit better. So Chisholm, Bell, Soler, Sanchez. What does that look like? And then we'll do a Saberson thing over there. Soler, oh, he's 3,200. And then Chisholm over there, and then play Alou, but who's the other guy we said? Bell? Play Bell. So you can do something like that, some of the Houstons and Miamis. Let's do a FanDuel Sabersim build. And again, this is more process to see how to, you got to just get practice doing this if you want to do MMA, if you want MMA. So I really think it's important. All right, so FanDuel, again, you go over here, or you do it through TrueDFS, whatever. You upload, or it's either pre-uploaded, depending on what you do. I always put exclude unlisted players. I don't need to do anything there. And let's do 50 lineups. We'll play them. You know, we don't need to do a zillion. We'll do 1,000 lineups, 34,500, I guess. And then we'll just roll. And we'll see what we get over there. I have a feeling you're gonna get whatever you want over here. I mean, you can almost always get whatever you want on FanDuel. I really like this slate from what I need to play tonight. You know, because I'm not going to be playing. I'm not going to MMA in. I'm not going to be MMA. So I do like the one lineup playing Boston with those other pitchers thing. I really do. It's not going to be that different, but it's different enough for like a one lineup build, I think. And I'm not going to play Toronto. I'm just not going to do it. I mean, Toronto's the best play. I don't want you to leave not realizing that. I mean, in Colorado, but as far as the way you have to play GPPs, I just don't think you can play. All right, so here, first thing I want to do is let's do 100% 4-4 and see what we get. Toronto, hey, you are getting Toronto, Boston, Miami, big surprise, exactly how projections worked out. And as far as pitching, I imagine, they are getting a decent amount of Scherzer, actually. Scherzer, 44%. Zach Wheeler, I didn't even know he was pitching. You know what I mean? These guys I didn't even come across in my build yet. Now, let's go do a contest sim. Actually, just to keep our process pure, let's do the min unique, see if it changes that much. Because still Scherzer is like kind of an elite play. And when it comes to stacks, still Toronto. But let's again do a contest sim. Contest sim setting, add contest sim, flagship, save settings, run contest sim, and we'll see. As we do that, we'll go and we'll check the, gotta check the, tennis again. Tommy Paul is doing well. Did Zhang get that break? She's at 4-3 and 40 love, which is very good. It's pretty important. Get that done. Get back to the. Oh, here's the sims done already. Okay. So first of all, it looks the same now, but then let's see what happens when we do the flagship MME ROI. Let's see what we get. Whoop. Can't even do this. So it's still very similar, actually. It's Toronto and Miami, which is, it really goes to show what good plays they both are over there. So yeah, I mean, how you slice it, Houston's going to look good, but Miami, particularly on FanDuel, is going to fit a lot of builds, which is, I guess that's important reality. All right, Wang is at 5-3, which is good. He really needs this. Tommy Paul is doing nicely. Hopefully about to get his first set. He's up a break. And I guess that's pretty much all I have at this hour. So I'm going to be going. I have to run because I have to do the other things in my real work, and then I also have to do the MMA DFS breakdown. I already did the betting breakdown, which I'm going to be putting up shortly. I'm not going to be around tonight, as I mentioned. Good luck, everybody, and I'm sort of in and around this weekend, and then I'm actually going to be gone for a couple of days next week. Good luck, everybody.